Welcome to another episode of the show.
No, you don't get to start again. Black man butting in. I'm going to start this.
It is kind of appropriate.
Welcome to, what number is this?
See, you
12.
don't even know it's 12.
That's because I'm a gangster. Uneducated, inappropriate. Welcome to episode number 12.
He's black, by the way. You can sound kind
Just
of
so
white.
there's no confusion.
Let my people go. This is our 12th episode. We've actually made it this far. We hit a milestone at 10 and we didn't even say anything about it because that was your rule. We had to make it to 10.
No, I said something about 10. Because I said now that we got 10 episodes. I think I said it in the 11th episode.
No, we were supposed to make something big about it.
Oh.
Because that was the milestone.
How does it feel to be the Barack Obama of introing the show?
It feels great. It feels great.
You know what? I feel like this should be like our Black Appreciation episode.
Nice.
Like, let's get to know Vic a little bit. Vic, what do you do?
I run an arcade.
What's the arcade called?
It's called Tilt Studio. It's located in the 4th floor to Circle Center Mall, downtown Indianapolis.
You say that a lot because you sounded like you already had that pre-programmed.
It's like in my head as soon as someone says something.
What kind of games might one find at this arcade?
We specialize in challenge racing games, Indy 500 being one of our best games. Initial D, our Sidecraft pods, are a very popular game.
Initial D, which is how I introduce myself to most of my dates.
It's not Big D.
No, it's right away. Initial D. So, do you have any retro games?
We don't actually do a lot of retro games.
Fail.
It's pretty worthless at this point.
Yeah,
do you use
we do the things that people can't do at home.
Do you use a quarter or token-based system?
Actually, it's a credit-based system done with
Like
a
the
game
cards?
card. Yes.
I hate you.
Right.
You're
See?
ruining arcades.
Fail.
Ruining arcades with those
What are you
goddamn
talking
cards.
about?
You know what the feeling of pumping in a coin is? It's so much fun.
You can get a coin if you want. Use the card to get the coins.
But let me ask you this. So those cards, like, is it still 25 cents per play?
Yes.
So each game is a quarter.
No. Each credit is worth a quarter.
So how many credits is typically for one game?
It depends. They
Like
range from
$3.
1 to 28.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What? You said what?
1 to 28 credits.
$7 for one game?
A laser tag?
Oh,
Well,
well,
that's not
yeah.
we're talking about-
talk shit now.
we're
That's
talking-
not even an arcade game.
No.
It's a
It's a
real
game.
life game.
But it's a game.
That's a real life
What do you
game.
go to an arcade? What do you go to an arcade to do? What do you go to an arcade to do?
Play video.
What do you go to an arcade to do?
Play
You
video
know, you
games.
were about to say you know it. You go to an arcade to play games.
No, I'm telling you right now, if somebody's like, hey, you want to go to this arcade and play laser tag? I mean, that's the gayest arcade game I've ever heard of.
So a ticket and prize game is not an arcade game?
The ticket and prize game?
Yeah. Skee-ball.
You know, maybe
Pinball.
Maybe I shouldn't be arguing with a person who's in the industry.
I don't fuck with you about comedy. Don't fuck with
that's
me
very
about
true.
arcades.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give it to you.
Well done, sir.
I still want to see some old school games.
I know. I would
It's
like.
only fair. It's only fair to us
Trust
old
me,
school
I
gamers.
would love to have old school games as well. The problem is they're hard to come by. They're just hard to come by. Like, if you have one, you're not going to get rid of it. We have some in the company, but they're in smaller arcades because those are the ones that need them. So, I specialize in like larger than life things. Like all of my games are all, large screens, things you're not going to be able to play at home. Things that I have a console, you have a console, everybody has consoles. You can sit at home and play video games, but the games that I have, you can't find or play at home. So
Let's still get to know you a little bit more. So you grew up young black man in America.
I was born in Jamaica, Queens, New York.
Were you a blood or a crypt?
Neither one, and that's crypt.
It's crypt.
Not underground.
Damn it, you gotta re-edit that. I can't sound whiter than Corey during this episode.
That is not being edited.
Classic.
Not being
That was
edited.
awesome.
Watch me crypt walk.
Just lay down on the ground.
So, how were you affected by Tupac's death?
Not really a huge Tupac fan.
Didn't care.
More a Biggie fan, but
Yeah,
actually,
see, he's East Coast.
I am East Coast, but I'm actually old school East Coast more than new school.
At
East Coast.
what age did you commit your first murder?
We don't talk about that.
I'll beep it out.
Well, the summer of night now.
You guys can't see, but Vic actually has 6 or 7 teardrop tattoos. And it's got balance because they're on both sides. So it's almost like I'm sure he kills 7 people, and he's like, well, now I gotta find one more because otherwise it just looks ridiculous.
Just looks like a black.
But I guess let's follow up with a real quick, short question. What are your hopes and dreams?
That a black man will be in. Oh, that already happened. That my children will grow up to. Nope, that
Pope's the
one's
next thing.
One's in,
like, by the
one's
way,
in college.
because you can't say black president anymore. Pope's the one you're looking for.
You want a black pope?
Yeah, that's the next black president. Is you need the first black pope.
Holy shit, that's a great idea.
Hashtag Black Pope yes. Hashtag Black Pope no. Let us know at the Showdown Pod on
Twitter.
on the tweeters.
On the tweeters.
On the tweeters. All right. Here it is. The episode: New Jack City versus Menace to Society.
Excuse me.
What?
East
we'll
versus
have
West.
First of all, it's the East Coast West Coast beat.
It's East
and
Coast West.
Vic will lead us into the episode. Thank you very much.
All right.
This is a very pro African American. Corey's like flipping out.
Let's start this motherfucking show.
The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
The Showdown with Corey Miller, Brad Scott, and Vic Miller. A debate over what movie is better, Corey's choice versus Brad's choice. They each plead their case and try to destroy the other person's. It's a combat of subjective opinion. Vic is the impartial judge, and his say is always final.
Welcome to episode 12 of the Showdown Podcast. I'm your host and referee, Vic Miller, and tonight's episode is Gangsta's Paradise. Fighting out of the blue corner from Indianapolis, Indiana, with a record of 4 wins and 7 losses, it's your Showdown co-host and challenger, Corey the Crusher Miller, and New Jack City. His opponent in the red corner, it's your champ and co-host, straight out of Compton, Brad, the destroyer of Corey Miller Scott, with Menace to Society.
That's right, folks. This episode's fight will be decided in 2 rounds. Eye dodges, bitch slaps, and your mama jokes are allowed. And as always, low blows are greatly encouraged here on the Showdown Podcast.
All right, we're starting out with my movie, which is New Jack City. It's about a crime lord played by Wesley Snipes who rises to power in New York, becoming a big-time drug kingpin, much like Scarface. And while he's got a couple of cops, one played by Ice-T, the other played by Judd Nelson, who are actually in their boss Mario Van Peebles.
I gotta say, it was tough watching this movie without Munch.
Not much.
I felt like Finn was lost.
Something wasn't there, huh?
Mario, the boss was played by Mario Van Peebles, who also directed it. This movie is a great film as far as if we're talking gangster films. This is it. I mean, you got a drug kingpin who rises in the beginning of the film. Wesley Snipes is a drug. You can't say drug lord, but he's a dope pusher basically. And it's not until Alan Payne, G Money, says this is what you got to start pushing now. This is it. This is what this is where you're going to make your money. Because of that, he starts pushing that, and then just rises. His bankroll rises. His cost of living rises, and you see it. You see it from the beginning, from the way he dresses, and then it changes throughout the film because he's making more money. He's paying more people off. He's paying cops off and whatnot. And then it's Ice-T is. I think this may be Ice-T's first role, or at least
seemed like it, didn't it?
Yeah, it's one of. I mean, he was in Electric Boogaloo.
I will say that
Breaking 2.
But I mean, as far as a starring role, this is one of his first ones.
I'll say probably the most unbelievable part of that movie was, I think it was the opening scene, right, with how athletic they made Chris Rock in that chase scene.
I was actually kind of laughing at the fact that Ice-T could keep up with him.
Look, any brother can run if he needs to. It's just the way it is.
But since you bring up Chris Rock, Chris Rock does play Pookie, who is a crackhead, and he goes through rehab, and Ice-T uses him to infiltrate Wesley's his drug lord. What Nino Brown has done, that's Wesley Snipes. He has bought a hotel it's an apartment complex, and then sectioned it off to where drugs are being made and they're being filtered out, and the crackheads can go. They've got places they can go throughout to go and do their drugs. So it's a place for them to do it. So actually, he's being kind of responsible. You know, he's dealing with drugs. You can do them here. Just stay here and do them.
By the way, when Wesley Snipes walks into the club in the beginning, is that the Inspector Gadget theme playing? I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't know.
It's where the sample came from.
It was probably around the same time. This was in '91, so the show was on. I think this has got to be Chris Rock's best role. I think he absolutely nailed it.
I really liked him in Dogma.
Yeah,
and I really liked him in. I really liked Down to Earth, and I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I thought that was a good movie. I know it wasn't a stretch for him, but I thought it was still good.
Yeah, but I mean, with this one though, I think he really got into the character, and that part where he broke down. I hate to say it, but I actually, I was like, damn, he can sort of act. He hasn't really done it since then. But
I don't know, because there's that whole part where he's crying in the dark wearing an American flag shirt thing.
That's not his fault. That's the wardrobe's fault. That's the wardrobe department's fault.
Well, yeah, because I could just see Chris. You want me to cry under the stars and stripes?
I do like the soundtrack. Now, the soundtrack that was released on cassette and CD, yes, that was something before CDs. On cassettes, it's a little bit different than some of the music that was actually played in the film. I like a lot of the music that's in the film more than the actual cassette and CD that you could buy. But there's so many just great songs. You had NWA there at the beginning. It started out, and then who could not like "Color Me Bad"? I mean, you had...
They were the guys singing the New Jack City song, right?
No, that was... who was that?
Well, did you notice that, for one, apparently that song took, 6 months? Because they started singing it outside in the summer, and then by the time they were done, it was winter. And they also started off with 5 guys, and then we're down to 3. And one of the guys they lost was wearing a Ghostbusters uniform. New Jack City.
I can't remember. I read. I want to say. Oh, it was Troop. That's the group that it was.
Oh, Troop.
Yeah.
I know a lot about '90s R&B, and
you don't remember Troop?
I don't remember Troop.
So that's who was that was doing that. Let's see. The whole film itself is about gangsters. Unlike Menace. We'll get into... I'll speak more on that later. And this also was actually based on a real life person, 2 people actually, the Chamber brothers out of Detroit.
Huh, that's funny, because the last scene of the movie, literally the sentence, although this is a fictional story, there are Nino Browns in other cities.
Yes.
So that's funny.
Which is the Chamber brothers.
They literally say that it's a made-up story. That's what fiction means. Yeah. I know I get confused sometimes, too. You have to think of fake and not fake.
But I also said based on. I said based on. Now, not everything that they did here was, what those guys did. They just took the idea and said, they did some things. We're not gonna write it the exact same way that they actually did these things, but we're gonna tweak it a little bit. And also, there was, what was it, episode 3 with White Man Can't Jump? So now we've got a return of Wesley Snipes. I just want to say that he's got better wardrobe in this